My name is Drew Evans, and I am the fly shop manager at Lewiston, Idaho's North 40 Fly Shop. I grew up here in the Lewis-Clark Valley. It's a great place to live, great place to grow up. I was a kid that played sports. I played basketball and football, but I also was really interested in music and punk rock and this kind of thing, and there was no sort of scene for that, and I couldn't wait to get out. And so when you start exploring the world as an adult and you leave and live somewhere else, you come back and you really realize, holy cow, this place is great, and I can't imagine living anywhere else now. I love it here. I actually didn't grow up fly fishing like most people do. While my dad is definitely the best angler that I know personally, he just didn't fly fish. And so I grew up conventional fishing, and I got interested in backpacking in college, and I noticed everywhere that I wanted to backpack, there was always a fly fishing destination nearby. And so I thought, maybe I should try it, you know. Didn't really put too much thought into it, and was on a trip and saw an old guy that was fly fishing. And I said, hey, do you mind if I give that a shot? And he said, sure. And my first cast, I landed a cutthroat. So after that, I was kind of ruined. I decided I want to go into this full tilt. I worked for a sporting goods store at the time while I was in college and ordered some stuff and never looked back. Fly tying has absolutely become something that I'm passionate about. I spend a lot of hours at the vise every week. It allows you as a fly angler to adapt even further to a scenario. So you can go, oh, well, I happen to notice that the caddis that they're taking are a little bit more olive today. You can tie a fly to meet that scenario right then and there, stream side if you wanted to. Or if you happen to know at home, like I need to plan ahead and make a fly that's gonna suit my needs a little better, you can do that. If I can, I'm gonna fish 4-weight for trout with dries, always. That to me is just my favorite, but of course I'll attack trout with streamers, nymphs, whatever I've got to use to catch those fish. And then for bass, I'm generally going to use a 6-weight, and this is my favorite rod that I've found so far. This is a 6-weight Sage Sonic, and I'll fish it with a full floating line, a bass line. So my favorite species to fish for is always going to be trout. It just is. Everybody, for the most part, I would say that fly fishes, especially out here in the West, you're going to get into trout probably first. It's kind of tough for me to say though, because it's basically a tie for me between trout and what we're doing here, which is fishing for bass, and especially fishing for bass with what I have right now is poppers. For me, it's probably more fun when a bass comes up and hits a popper than a dry fly, but ultimately dry flies and trout, that's going to be my favorite probably always. Aside from that, we have our anadromous fish. So we've got steelhead and we've got salmon, which is pretty unique to our fly shops. Most places aren't going to have access to it, and most places aren't going to have access to it within half an hour's drive or less. We've got world-class steelhead right at our doorstep. So I do enjoy fishing for steelhead, going after and chasing them. You know, I'm still learning. I'll be learning until I die. That's just the name of the game with those guys. The rivers are fickle from one day to the next, especially in these tailwaters where we've got water that's controlled by dams. Each day is different, each scenario is different. And learning kind of where those fish are gonna hold, what flies to use, when, where, all of that is all the fun part of that pursuit. And especially when you start getting into the two-handed or spay rods, it's a big learning curve, and you've got some different strategies that you can use, different gear, different places you can apply different things. And then it's all going to change based on season too. So it's a fun challenge in and of itself. We're all friendly, we're all eager to help. We love helping people get into this. It's our biggest passion in life. We want to share it with others, of course. Basically, it's not as expensive and it's not as difficult as you would think it would be, especially when you have the proper help and somebody that can answer your questions. You know, we've got a lot of years of experience and knowledge behind us in the fly shop, which is really cool. We've got tons of years in steelhead if you want to get into steelhead, trout, bass, anything. Even outside of this area, if you're looking to book a trip somewhere, we've got some folks in the fly shop that have done saltwater over the years. We've got people that have done pike and muskie and that kind of thing. So just utilizing your local fly shop is going to be your best bet, and just know that we're all there to help. Everybody there wants to get you into this. Just something that I'd like to share with people about fly fishing. It can be as humbling as it can be rewarding, and you can take the best, most seasoned angler and they can have the best day or the worst day. You can take somebody that's their first day and they might outfish somebody that's been fishing for 50 years. But each time you go out, it's rewarding to be in nature, it's rewarding to learn every single time. And usually you're amongst friends, which I take away a lot from, and just being a part of something that's conservation minded and community minded.